My name's Molly. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Purpose, where we talk about just that. What's our reason for being on this earth? Why are we here? Well, if you've been watching along with me or following along with me, you know what I think. I think there's only two reasons we're on this earth. Everything else comes off of that. Our only reason to be alive on this earth is to love God, which means working every day to try to grow closer to Him, try to understand Him more, try to love Him more, and loving each other, which means praying for each other, which means not wanting bad to happen to anybody, even the people you don't like. It means being kind and generous and all that stuff that's so hard to do. And this is not easy stuff, which is why God gave us the Bible to help us, to show us how to love Him and love each other. So hopefully you watched the last video. I can't even remember the name of it. It was something like, this is hard stuff, God. This is too much, God. I can't remember what it was, but my last video was all about Abraham and how he was being tested by God. Now, I told you in that video, and I'm going to say it again, how you read this story about Abraham, which is in, oh gosh, I don't have it open to the right page, which is in Genesis chapter 20, or chapter 22. Yeah, chapter 22, verses 1 through 19. How you read this is crucial for how you're going to see God, how you're going to read the whole Bible, and your relationship with God. This is huge stuff. So I'm going to break down this little bitty chapter here into lots of videos. That's how important I think it is. I think this is key to our understanding God. I'm not going to go over the whole story again. You can go back and watch that video of the story of what happened to Abraham. But it's so important that we understand and keep telling ourselves, even when we don't believe it, that God is pure love, which is tough to wrap the brain around because our love comes with all kinds of strings attached to it, but God's doesn't. God is pure, absolute love. He cannot hurt people. He cannot cause harm to people. He can allow bad things to happen. He can allow people to be hurt and die. But we make those choices in our lives. You know, we live in a broken world. This sin has been growing in our world for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it just grows and grows and grows. But as sin is growing, love's growing too. So we live in a broken world. God never intended for us to get sick. He never intended for us to die when we were in the Garden of Eden. He didn't intend for us to get hurt. That's a result of this world that we live in. Not that it's our fault that bad things happen to us. It's just a result of the world that we're living in. And bad things happen. And I don't know why. I don't know why this person dies and this person doesn't. I don't know why this person has cancer hit their family and this person doesn't. I don't know why this person gets hurt and this one doesn't. I don't know why. And I think it's easy for a lot of people to blame God and to get mad at God and to think that God doesn't care. To think that God, they may not think that God caused their family member to get hurt or sick or die, but they sure think that God didn't stop it, and He didn't. But we don't know how many times He did stop it. And I firmly believe that when we get to heaven, we are living the good life then. It is just bliss and happiness. I think there's struggles to it because we have to, you know, atone for all of the bad things that we've done here on earth. But we're completely peaceful and happy while we're doing it, I think. I don't know. But I do know dying's not a punishment. Dying is a gift. if we get to be in heaven with God, which is kind of cool. And this is life according to the world of Molly. Abraham suffered a lot in this story. Being asked to offer his much loved son up as a sacrifice to God had to just kill him, you know? He was suffering greatly, but he never lost his trust in God. He didn't lose his faith. And I think that when we suffer, when bad things happen to us, it gives us a chance to be with Jesus on the cross, to share in the pain that he had, to share in the suffering that he had. Everybody wants to be with Jesus in the good times. Nobody wants to share the suffering with him. And that's when we can grow the most, when we can trust in God and have faith in God, even when the bad things are happening to us. And when we can go to that cross and just hang out with Jesus. What a gift that is. And when really bad things are happening to me, I'll close my eyes and I'll actually visualize Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane sitting on a rock, which is way down the road in our stories. But I picture him sitting there and I'm sitting there with him. And sometimes I've got my head on his shoulder. Sometimes his arms are around me. Whatever it is, I'm hanging out with him in the garden. He's suffering, I'm suffering. We're going to hang out together and suffer together. And I think that's kind of a cool thing, that even when the bad things are happening to us, we can still trust in God. We can still have faith in him, which is what Abraham did. Because God's entire goal is to get us back to him, to get us back to complete, full union, living with him in perfect harmony. That's his goal. And when bad things are happening to us, it's our chance to say, I love you, God. I trust you. I want to be with you in heaven. But this hurts and I need you. I don't understand this and I need you. I'm in pain and I need you. And he will always come. Remember, way back in the Garden of Eden, in one of the very first stories that we talked about in these videos, God made a covenant, a pact with Adam and Eve that, look, you can live in complete happiness your whole life, perfect harmony, you'll never die, as long as you don't eat the apple from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They blew it. They ate the apple. Sin entered their life. They died, not right away, but spiritually they died. They moved away from God. They took a step away from God. They blew it. So then Noah comes along. God wiped out the entire earth. Now, I just said God won't cause harm to anybody. He's not going to kill anybody. But if it's a sinful world, he's going to allow them to die, even if it's in a flood. He'll allow the whole world to die. But he knew Noah wasn't sinful. He knew Noah was trying. You know, Noah made mistakes, sure, but he was trying. So God saved him. So in that whole story, God's telling us, look, you got to have faith in me. You got to have trust in me. You got to do what I ask you to do, build an ark, and you'll live. You'll be okay. You'll go to heaven. You will spiritually be alive. If you're just living for yourself and what makes you happy, you're going to walk away from me and you're going to die. And so he made a covenant with Noah and said, I will never get rid of everybody on earth again, so you can trust me. You saw my might. You saw how powerful I am. You saw I can get rid of the whole world with just a thought if I want to. But I won't do that, Noah. He promised Noah, I will not do that, because he doesn't want people to be afraid of him and think at any moment, you know, he can just kill us all. But for your part, Noah, you got to trust me. You got to believe in me. You've got to love me and love each other. They blew it. Noah, his family, they all blew it. So now he's making a covenant with Abraham, telling him, I'm going to make you a great nation, but you all have to trust me. You have to believe in me and do what I tell you to do. Love me and love each other. They're going to blow it. Spoiler alert. People are going to blow it. The whole nation, they blew it. So then he makes a covenant with David. All right, David, I'm going to give you a whole kingdom. This is thousands of years after Abraham. God's saying, I will bring you all to heaven. You will be with me. Just love me and love each other. You've got to do this. They blow it. Why? Because we're human. So is God just messing with them? You know, he knows we can't do this. He knows this is too hard for us. He knows we're going to blow it all the time. No. Spoiler alert. He's going to send his son. He will send Jesus, who is God and man, all together. He's going to send him because he's the only one who can stay completely true and faithful and in complete communion with God. He's the only one who can do that. And he's human. He suffers. He feels pain. He gets scared. He cries. He mourns. Jesus feels everything that we feel. And when he was in that garden at Gethsemane, he felt every single pain I have ever felt or ever will feel in my life. He felt it all. He understands what it's like to be human. And he shows us the way to God. He shows us how to get to God. He suffered, was tortured, and died, and never quit loving the people who were doing it to him. Never. He trusted in God. And now all we have to do is imitate him. And he shows us how. He gives us the Bible. He tells us how to love him and how to get back to God, which is what we're doing here. So God wasn't messing with Abraham. He doesn't mess with us. He's giving us chances to show him how much we love him and trust him and that we want to get back to him. We just have to have faith. We just have to trust that God loves us more than anything in the world and that he will help us even when we're suffering, even when we're in pain, like Abraham was, like Jesus was. Even when our world turns upside down and we feel like nobody cares about us, everybody's walking all over us, nobody cares if we're happy, nobody cares if our feelings are getting hurt, God does. God does. And we just have to keep trusting him. Well, I told you, we are diving into this chapter here. Next time we come back, we're going to talk about faith and trust. Because that's baby steps, you know? Man, I have trouble trusting God. I don't have faith in him all the time. Bad things happen to me, I get ticked off. I don't just say, oh, got faith in you, God. I believe in you. These people are hurting my feelings. I don't care. I believe in you. No, I get mad. I get scared. I get hurt. I cry. But Jesus is going to show us what we need to do in those times and how we can keep building up our faith to get closer and closer to God. That's next week, and I hope you come back with me because we've got a couple more of these videos left of Abraham and Isaac and their sacrifice. Well, I hope you all have the very best day today. Bye-bye, everyone.